Because we are having an event that allows us to improve skill for 2A unit, in today's video, I want to share with you guys the skill up priority. In my opinion, what is important for 2A skill up. There are two main reasons why you want to improve a 2A unit skill. First one being you have to do it, because without skill up, they are pretty much unusable. Reason number two, you use them every single day in many different content, so might as well give them the love and improve their skill. There are many units that doesn't really require skill up like Lulu, but because you use it every single day, it helps you in RTA, guild content, PvE, whatever, you should improve their skill. But for those people who are not very competitive, you don't really have to. I've been using Lulu without skill up for the longest time, and I don't really feel the need to. I can feel the rage of all the Siege player, and seeing a non-max skill Lulu is like me trying to eat cereal without milk. The first one being Spectra. Spectra is a very strong unit for early mid-game player. This unit will dominate TOA. It is really amazing for early dragons. It is great for PvE in general because of the skill that can do a lot of damage. It is a very fast unit, easy to rune, and just amazing overall. And it is a very underrated unit for early game RTA. A lot of people trying to cleave in Fighter 3, a lot of people trying to outspeed in Fighter 3 without wheel runes. And this guy can outspeed them all and push their attack bar back. And it is the best thing ever when you use a Spectra and win in RTA. When I talk about the reason number one being you have to skill them up. If not, they're not very good. The sign for that will be harmful effect rate and cooldown reduction. Those are much more important than damage increase or recovery increase. Even though damage and recovery increase can be really good as well, but cooldown reduction and consistency with harmful effect rate bonus makes so much of a difference on a unit. Another underrated unit will be Iselia, and she needs to be max skill. When you increase this skill in particular, you don't have to max these two. They're good, but if you want to save your skill up in the event and you manage to hit this skill immediately, you can move on to other unit. The stripping consistency for this skill improved significantly with this skill up. But for those who have completed content without the need for Spectra, or you don't really use Iselia and RTA, and you want to skill up a fire 2A unit, Raok will be my choice because you might be using Raok in guild content, in PvE like Rift Beast and R5 and RTA as well, and you use Raok a lot. Then skill up will be good, especially for the harmful effect in skill 1. Moving on to water, Vigor is definitely going to be the unit that you want to max skill. This skill was nerfed because it was too strong with skill up. The harmful effect rate increased the consistency of defense break and the cooldown reduction. In the past, it used to have 3-turn cooldown with skill up, and now 4-turn cooldown. He used to be too strong in all PvP content. Now he's still strong but not as popular. But he's still a very good unit for offense and PvE in general. When you need a water bruiser and it's free to play, Vigor is always the recommended option. The healing is great, the damage is great, the defense break is awesome. So if you use Vigor every single day in many content, I recommend maxing Vigor skill. The next one on the list will probably be Lulu, because I can see a lot of budget, free to play, mid-game, even late game player use Lulu in many guild content. But the skill up for Lulu will only improve recovery. Without it, it is okay. Without the skill up, the unit can still function just fine. But because Lulu is so important in many player box, maxing Lulu's skill is definitely a worthwhile investment. To the try-hard player who really want to shave off a couple seconds in their dungeon run, maxing Ikaru's skill is also good because it increases the damage of Ikaru. But for the majority of player, I don't recommend using your skill up on Ikaru. The dungeon might go a couple seconds faster, but you can use the skill up on so many other units that really need the harmful effect rate or the cooldown reduction. In the win department, I don't think you need skill up for any of these units. But if you want to tune your Lucian cleave a little bit better, reduce the speed on Lucian, you might want to improve the Bernard skill 3. With extra attack bar recovery, the speed tuning can become easier for you. But unlike harmful effect rate, this attack bar recovery doesn't mean you are going to boost 45% attack bar. It is going to be 5% of 30% and 10% of the 30 something percent. So overall, you get like a 33% total attack bar increase after skill up. It is not a whole lot, okay? The skill 1 improvement is great, but not too important. I really wish they have harmful effect rate increase in Naomi's skill 2, but there's none. And the branding is not exactly very consistent. Celia is a unit that requires skill up, but she's not a very meta unit, so this is gonna be a preference kind of thing. You need this 20% harmful effect rate for the skill 2 for her to be worth using. Without this 20%, she's not worth using. So if you want to use her, you want to build her with this event and max her skill 2. In the light department, personally, this is a personal thing, okay? I max Shaman skill because I use Shaman in TOA Hell, I use Shaman in Necro, and I use Shaman in some Dimension Rift bosses. And this cooldown reduction allows Shaman to do so much more damage consistently. And that's about it. You only care about a cooldown reduction. 2-turn cooldown, the skill that can do 100,000 damage on bosses, is just absolutely amazing. Another rising star will probably be Linda, but this is also another preference kind of thing. She is a good unit, but not exactly a strong OP unit. But the damage increase and the cooldown time reduction is very important for her. For the Asher fan out there, he's definitely a very, very strong unit. And if you use him a lot in Siege and RTA, definitely max his skill because the extra damage, the extra recovery will carry you in that match where if you didn't have the skill up, you would have lost. But personally, I've been using him without skill up just fine, so I don't really think you need to. In the dark two-way department, I think Gina is an absolutely amazing unit for PvP. Not really for PvE though, you can use her in TOA, but not really too important. But she needs the skill up to be really good in PvP. An extra 20% harmful effect rate and cooldown reduction here makes her a very, very strong unit for the control comm in RTA. A lot of high-level RTA players use her in their control comm, but she will desperately need the skill up. Without this, she's not as strong as a unit should be. A unit that must have the skill up to work is going to be Cameron. She needs this 20% because consistency is very important, especially for a unit that only increases the skill cooldown time enemy for 1 turn. Only 1 turn, which means Violent Proc can solve all the problem. She needs this skill up right here. Personally, I will probably max her skill and give her a try in Inter-Server. I used to be a fan of this guy in my early game account, but not anymore. This skill up is really, really good, but these days, Spectra can do his job way better and also have a very strong skill too, way easier to ruin. Spectra just make him kind of bad. And lastly, maybe Crow, another unit that fall into the category which you use every single day without fail, so it is totally okay and understandable to put a skill up in Crow. Like, this is very interesting. 3-turn branding, but where I use him, like Rift Beast, 3-turn branding doesn't mean anything. On R5, he used it once and the boss jump and the debuff goes away. If I put skill up into Crow, it is for the skill 1. Very, very good harmful effect rate right there. But for the majority of the 2-way unit, I strongly believe they are really good without the need to max their skill. So just choose what you really like using and improve that unit. You don't have to like, oh my god, I have to do Vigor. If you don't really care about Vigor, you like using your Bastet, your Chow, your Aegir, your whatever. You don't give a shit about Vigor, then you can put all your skill up into Kali. If you're one of the cleaver that use Kali every day, then you probably need this damage increase right here. This is all just opinion. And the unit I mentioned that I like having max skill, I max their skill. But what important is how you use your 2-way unit. You improve the skill of the ones that you use a lot and you enjoy using a lot. There are so many Mei fan out there that I just don't understand. And hey, the cooldown reduction on Mei can be really, really good. And that's my recommendation. I would love to read the discussion in the comment section down below. If you want like a TLDR top 3 in this whole video, that will be Spectra, Vigor, and Gina for me, if you want a top 3. But that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.